What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome to another edition of Dangle Bet Selly, powered by FTN Bets, Game Plus Network, right here on our FTN Network YouTube page, presented by PointsBet Canada. Chris Meaney and Eric Young here with you in the house. A little late, not our usual recording time. Had some issues, of course, on the East Coast. It's pretty stormy. I got to invest in a generator. Hopefully, I can win some shop props, some NHL picks here tonight so we can invest in that generator tonight. Eric, nothing different here on Game Plus Network, coming at you the same time, but a little bit different on our FTN Network YouTube page. So our apologies to those who like to hang out with us live in the morning, and to see some people hanging out with us live here this afternoon. So we do love it. We have 9 games on the ice tonight. We have some intriguing matchups, the Lightning and the Bruins. We have Ovechkin versus Crosby. We have some trade rumor reports. People are talking about the Kraken. They're feeling the Kraken lately. And one of our favorite teams, I think, this year. Very valuable. I think we bet them almost every single night when they won the 7 straight on the road, set an NHL record. And last night over at FTN Daily, we were all over Olivier Bjorkstrand and your boy, Eli Tolvanen, who continues to get it done. What the heck?
Yeah. It's awesome for him. I was blown away how quickly they gave up on him. I'm even more blown away that 22 other teams passed on him, which, you mean, like, people can point their fingers at the Predators, but that means there's a total of 23 teams in the NHL that weren't interested in Eli Tolvanen. And the Seattle Kraken, their analytics department, their coaching staff, and their front office is laughing all the way to the bank. I think he makes $1.4 million, played 14 minutes, scored again. This is an extremely talented player, and Seattle's gain is everyone else's loss. And it could be the death knell for Poyle and Hines here in Nashville. The Nashville Predators have been an infuriatingly inconsistent team. And the fact that you let a guy like that go, and like Cole Smith has got 1 goal on the year. You chose him over Eli Tolvanen. I get Cole Smith is a big body, but you didn't need any more big bodies. You needed guys that can score. And Cole Smith has 1 goal. Eli Tolvanen has, 10 since going to the Seattle Kraken a week ago?
He looked great last night, man, alongside Gordon Bjorkstrand. It was a line that looked pretty good. And Bjorkstrand's starting to – I feel like the goals are going to start to come from him. Like, he's been shooting a lot lately as well. But, it was a good night, from that standpoint. Got some cash. And if you guys have any DFS questions, by all means, you can leave them there. I know this is a betting show, but, we can talk a little DFS as well. We're still running the 3 trials over at both of our websites, ftndaily.com/free, ftnbets.com/free. 3-day trials over there, both of them, as you see right here. You get access to our projections, our tools. We don't have an NHL optimizer just yet. We're working towards that, but we do have a PGA optimizer. Farmers Insurance Open and happening right now. We have championship weekend in the NFL on Sunday, 2 games. You can have the optimizer projections tools for that, and NBA optimizer. You can sign up for free. We're taking care of the FTN, the NHL family as well, with Kenneth Lee, who's up for Sports Writer of the Year in terms of hockey. Does some fantastic stuff for us over at FTN Daily, as well as Griffin and DFS Chaser and myself. We're always taking turns writing the articles, and the article is live right now. And just to give you a little bit of a sneak peek, he goes through his top stacked lines. He likes the Bruins, the Jets, the Avs, the Preds, the Flames, line 3, the Blues, line 2, the Red Wings, the Ducks. Nothing in here about Montreal. What? I actually think it's a game that the Canadians could win tonight. We'll get to that in a little bit. Potential one-off mini stacks. He does mention the Canadians here with Kirby Dach or Mike Hoffman, with Mike Matheson. He's got some favorite individual plays. We talk goalie plays, prize picks plays, our goal scorers and things like that. And then over at ftnbets.com/free, you get all the picks across all the sports from everybody over at FTN, and all the sports are happening. And before you know it, baseball will be here as well. Our guy, Josh Gross, continues to crush tennis bets, WNBA, college basketball. College football is over, but all the college basketball picks, and as well as NHL, NBA, NFL. It is all there for you over at ftnbets.com. Same sort of deal. All the projections tools. We have a lot of tools. It's all available for you for free. And if you want to sign up longer, you can use the promo code Meaney, save yourself a little bit of cash. I want to say hello to the crew because they've been hanging out for quite some time. See some messages here early in the morning. Adam Rankamp, Troy was in the house a little bit earlier on. There was a conversation about the Kraken. Seattle, diehard MMA podcast says, good morning, boys. Would I be insane to take a shot on the Kraken at 35-1 to win the cup at this point? I think 2 weeks ago, we talked about how it would be a decent sprinkle at 45-1. I still like this price at 35-1. I think they're a team that's going to make the playoffs. I feel like they've had a lot of puck luck. They're the best 5-5 scoring team in the NHL. They lead the NHL in shooting. I don't know how sustainable that really is. Maybe we see it regress next year. But like guys like Jared McCann is having a career year. Matty Beniers has been really nice. They're getting contributions from some players that we just touched on earlier as we opened up. I think the biggest question is in goal. But Eric, this is a team that could add. I don't think they're going to be as aggressive as the Vegas Golden Knights. They've traded a lot of their prospects and a lot of their picks. They've only been in the league for a few years, and I don't know. I'm sure they'll always attract free agents because it's Vegas, but they've gotten rid of a lot of their prospects and their whole draft capital. I don't know if Seattle will be as aggressive at the deadline, but I could see them adding maybe somebody to play inside that top six. I know Bo Horvat is linked potentially to go there, or maybe adding somebody on their blue line as well. Do you like that shot at 35-1? I think it's certainly worth a sprinkle, man. There's a lot of teams in the West that have been pretty inconsistent this year, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Seattle surprised everybody, and I think the best compliment you can give a team structurally is, do they really need to add, right? Like, I mean, you got guys like Daniel Sprong and Eli Tollivan pulled off the scrap heap, playing, 10 to 12 minutes a night and scoring, which seems like every night. Like, maybe they need some experience. I think they have size, kind of all up and down the lineup. I think they have, good skating. They don't have a player that can just, kind of get the stick on, puck on his stick and score. Like they don't have a guy like that. And that can be problematic in the playoffs when everything tightens up and everyone's working hard and, every game matters and every second matters and the coaching matchups and all this other stuff. The game just tightens up. I mean, it's no secret to me and you or anybody that's watched hockey that the playoffs are a completely different game than the regular season. But do the Seattle Kraken really need to add anything? I mean, I guess at the start of the year, we would have said 1,000% goaltending, but both of those guys are making us look like fools. And they've got 4 lines that can roll. I think the fact that they're the highest scoring team at 5-on-5 is a direct correlation of having scoring ability on every line. Gone are the days of having 3 big guys that just fight and run into each other and skate around like lunatics. Like they've got Daniel Sprong plays on the 4th line. That is not, when you look at him and what he does in his skill set, you don't think 4th line player, but that's where he's played almost his entire tenure in Seattle, and obviously playing on the top power play because offensively is such a good player and such an unbelievable shooter. So I feel like Seattle is kind of reinventing how we look and think of lineups, and it's super cool.
Yeah, their 5-5 game is extremely strong, and that's what you want in the playoffs. I mean, special teams will certainly be key in the playoffs, but the penalties are a little bit like looser. The penalty calling, sometimes you just don't get those calls. You don't really see a lot of 7-8 power play opportunities like you do sometimes in the regular season. 35-1 over at BetMGM, and again, I'll reference the prop shop because it will save you a lot of time and a lot of bucks. And over at FTNBets.com, you can see the prop shop up at the top left. And Bet Rivers is hanging 21-1, Caesars 22-1, DK 28, PointsBet at 30, but you can get 35-1 over at BetMGM, 31-1 over at FanDuel. And as of right now, the Kraken are atop the Pacific Division, tied with the Golden Knights with 61 points, but they do have 2 games in hand. Just like we thought. And the Oilers are the only team in the Western Conference that have scored more goals than the Kraken this season. In fact, if you just look up and down the entire NHL, it's just the Oilers and the Bruins with more goals than the Kraken this season. So it's tough to kind of hammer them, to figure out which line to play in DFS because their goals just kind of come from all over the place and some of their lines, but they're getting contributions, like you said, from really all 4 lines. So we see a lot of love here for the Kraken. Hammerhead Union in the house. We got a live show. Let's go. Caught the live show for once. We got illrap _ in the house. It's because we're super late here. We're super late on this show. So it's nice that we have some more, just live viewers, and we're able to bring up some of these new faces as well. I got the Jets to win the cup 33-1. That's pretty good, right? Pretty good. Yep. One-offs in DFS. Yeah, we talked about Bjorkstrand yesterday as a one-off, but I did pair him up with Tolvanen just because of EY. EY was in my head. He's always scoring goals, and he is scoring goals. And then we also have Daily Handle in the house. He says, good afternoon, means an EY. And of course, Troy is always hanging out with us. And he's like reporting potential trades here. I don't know. This is not official, but he is saying according to some reports, the GM of the Blue Jackets and the Leafs have been in Vancouver over the last 2 days. Allegedly, there's a 3-way trade in the works, sending Gavrikov to the Leafs and Bo Horvat to Columbus. The Canucks getting all kinds of picks and prospects. Interesting. I think Bo Horvat will get traded. I don't know where this guy's going to go. It's going to be a great addition, but also who knows if he's going to re-up. I think that'd be a risky trade for the Blue Jackets to potentially give up on the opportunity maybe to get a guy like Connor Bedard, and you don't even know if Bo Horvat's going to trade. I would imagine if the Blue Jackets are doing something like that, they want to have like a sign and trade, something in place where they can lock him up so they don't lose these pieces and just have 2 months of Bo Horvat before he tests free agency. We're going to get underway here in a second. We just want to say thank you guys to everybody. All the support here over the past couple weeks on the show has been tremendous. It's really blown Eric and I away. I see the screenshots, I see all the buzz. You guys have done exactly what we've asked. Rate, review, subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, wherever it is that you listen to your favorite podcast. We've asked you guys to subscribe to our FTN Network YouTube page, and we will it's just one last shot. I'm pretty sure we got all the votes in. I think maybe the clubhouse leader may be number 3, which would be the Dangle Bet Selly with the goalie mask. Number 1, top left there with Selly. Number 4 would be DBC with the 2 hockey sticks, and number 2 would be the 3 logos. So we will take all the votes. We will count them all up here over the next, couple of days, and on Tuesday we will decide on one of the 4 shirts that will be the winner. And then we're going to have to follow up with you guys to get your address so we can send the shirt. So I appreciate all the support on this show. Again, if you're just stumbling across today's episode, you still have a couple days to get your vote in. We're just asking you to screenshot showing that you're subscribed to Dangle Bet Selly. On iTunes would be beneficial for us, but we'll take it wherever it is that you listen to the show. If you watch on Game Plus Network, maybe hop on over to our FTN Network YouTube page. Click subscribe on our FTN Network YouTube page for free. And then you can screenshot that over to meanstreetsftn@gmail.com. That's meanstreetsftn@gmail.com, or DMs at Chris Meaney and the Eric Young. It's no good to do it on Eric's timeline. That's going to get lost. So DM at the Eric Young at Chris Meaney, your favorite of the 4. We're going to give you guys a shirt. It may not be your favorite, but it's going to be a shirt just for subscribing to this show. So we do appreciate the support. Eric, it's just been fantastic, man. And, it's really touching because I think we've created a little bit of a family here, and there's a lot of sharp people, and we just want to give back. And we're just so supportive and so thankful for the support that you've given us, man. It's been fantastic to see.
Yeah, completely blown away by it. The show is obviously doing well. This is, another full season, the sponsorships with PointsBet Canada, obviously FTN growing like crazy, but to get these messages and these, people supporting it and doing the things that need to be done, quite frankly, as somebody that has listened to podcasts and stuff and used YouTube, being a person that relies on that in an industry like this now, I know how important it is. If you're not liking and commenting and subscribing, things like this can disappear because that's how they're rated, and that's how money gets spread around. And me and Chris would do this for free probably, but the companies have got to do the things. And we were kind of messaging back and forth as we always do. And in all honesty, I'm an emotional person, but it was kind of choking me up, man. It's super cool. The least that I can do is print off some shirts and get them to you guys. And the faster we can get those DMs to us with your pick, we can next Tuesday, I think we'll probably reveal which shirt won. And then hopefully by the end of next week and next weekend, I can be shipping these out. Never really dated this before, so you'll have to bear with me. But the sooner I can get them printed, the faster I can get them in your guys' hands. And we can all be wearing them, spreading the love and spreading the good word of this show, because this is a very special community that we've all created together, and I'm super proud to be part of it.
And, we've gone 15 minutes and we haven't even broken down any games. We've seen some people hang out and they're still hanging out with us. That's what we love. And it's Parley, little rap underscores Parley. Yeah, welcome in. We have a longtime fan. He says, I saw your DM this morning. Appreciate the support. Yeah, you've been here with us since the get-go, so it's nice to see you here live with us. Joey in the house. Good morning. Go Pens. We have Seth in the house as well. Hey, fellas, good to make a live show today. So we're seeing some of our old faces here because of the delay. So maybe it's a good thing we were delayed. Go Birds, Seth. Go Birds, right? Here we go. Daily handle, it's okay. We know that you've done this, so you can send the screenshot over and we'll get you a shirt as well. And
there's a couple guys in here that are in here every show, and they were getting a shirt whether they wanted one or not.
yeah. We're going to take care of all the people out there. So let's get after tonight. 9 games on the slate. We got a good one here to kick us off. The Lightning and the Bruins. The Tampa Bay Lightning checking in at home. And I guess one perk about going this late, Eric, is we do have some confirmation in net with some of these goalies. Usually we're recording the show before morning skate. We do know that Andre Vasilevsky and Linus Ullmark is going to play for the Bruins. Some of the odds have changed just slightly between these two teams. You got Braden Point and David Krejci on the board here. Oh, that's Brandon Hagel, excuse me. Hagel's been really good. Live odds for you. -105 at PointsBet. Using the parlay calculator, get the best possible odds. And the Bruins are checking in at -110. As you see, you could have got them last night at +102. I cannot bet against this Bruins team, dude. I can't. I know they're in Tampa against Vasilevsky and the Bolts, and this should be a fantastic game. But this is a Bruins team that only has 5 regulation losses, people, in 47 games. 47 games. Are the only team in the NHL yet to allow 100 goals. 98 goals is what they've allowed. And I'm looking at the overall standings. What do I see? The next closest team in the Atlantic, the Leafs at 129. The Devils in the Metro at 123. In the West, the Avalanche at 126. In the Central, in the Pacific, geez, what do we got? 142 from the Golden Knights. Are you kidding me? Like, the Bruins have allowed at least 30 fewer than the next closest team. It's remarkable to think about. I wanted to give a little bit of love to David Krejci, man. David Krejci's having a really, really nice season. Known as a pass-first guy. Against the Canadiens, he was -120 for a point. He did pick up a goal, and he ended up picking up an assist. Now, this is a tougher spot. So we're getting still actually -120 for a point, +136 for an apple. I like the odds of him getting an assist tonight, right? Playing with David Pastrnak. The guy seems to score every single night. And if you look at the back of the hockey card for Krejci, this guy's picked up 4, 5, 6, 7 assists, Eric, over his last 5 hockey games. 27 apples on the year. It doesn't look like, he looks better actually before he went over to the Czech Republic. But I like the Bruins tonight. I don't know where you're at, but give me those odds for Boston. I'll take them all day.
I mean, hell of a year to be a Boston Bruins fan. The truth is, like, I'm not a Boston Bruins fan per se, but like, we're witnessing history, right? Like, salary cap era. We talked about this a bit on Tuesday of, like, we didn't know what kind of player Krejci was going to be. Looking at the lineup, the fact that Marchand and both McAvoy weren't supposed to, be back this early. I think both of them were slotted to maybe be back halfway through the season and came back early. And even before they came back, the Bruins were doing unbelievable things. Mathematically, it's a fool's errand to bet against this team. If you're ever going to bet against them, maybe tonight when they're on the road in Tampa could be the night. I'm telling you that I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it until they prove that they're not a juggernaut that they've been all year. 5 regulation losses, guys. Do not bet against the Boston Bruins. It's stupidity. So
Do see some people in here, Hammerhead Unions taking the Lightning, and you guys are both. You kind of said it. If there's a game that they're going to lose, it could be this one against the 3-time defending Eastern Conference champion Tampa Bay Lightning.
I am certainly not ever going to bet them to lose at home, because have they lost in regulation at home yet? I don't think they have.
I think they got maybe one. One loss.
One regulation at home. We're over halfway through the season. Like, this is, guys, they're breaking records. It's a fool's errand. I'm the fool on the show, and I bet 40 goal scorers every night, but that's just kind of the role that I've taken in, and that's what's exciting to me, so that's what I do. I'm not telling you to bet on all the guys that I'm giving you, but I'm telling you the guys that I think are going to score. So that's a fool's errand as well. Don't do as I do as I say.
What do you got over there for goal scorers?
Yeah, look at Pasternak. If you're giving me plus odds, I'm betting on him to score. Like you said, he scored almost every night. Pasta at 105. Yeah. And Marchand. And I I love when that line is together, because it is just poetry to watch. But having them on separate lines, I'm going Pasta and Marchand, Tampa Bay side, Stamkos, and the guy on the graphic, Brandon Hagel, still playing on that top line, still playing on the top power play, and in my opinion, still being disrespected at plus 260. Sign me up.
Yeah, a little bit, right? I there's not a lot I like here in shot prop. I'm always tempted when I see plus money for Pasta. But like the goal scorers for me would be Pasta and Point. Like, those have been the most consistent players, in my opinion, on both of these teams. But I think that there is value for David Krejci to have a point at minus 122, and then Brendan Hagel to have a point as well at minus 130. Plus money for both of those guys to have assists. So, we both like Point and Pasta. So if Pasta can score a goal, maybe we get that point or assist from Krejci, in the same sort of deal with Braden Point. If he finds the back of the net, maybe Brendan Hagel is involved in that as well, and it kind of correlates into points. Kucherov 2 points. That's all you. That's all you, dude. Allmark doesn't usually allow 2 goals, but that's all you if you want to go there. Not tonight for me, but you will get some good value. We got Young J Dash in the house. My guy Eric Young. Welcome in. We love it. Pascal's in here, and I think he's just catching up. Kraken were the team to give them their first regulation loss at home. Release the Kraken. Release it. Release the Kraken. I'm with you. Like, this is my new favorite squad this year. It really is. There's been so much value. Books have been slow to catch on to some of their players when it comes to points, and even just on the money line. I know that there were big favorites last night in the second half of a back-to-back, but we do like the Kraken on the show. Hall is slotted in the first line, and power play. We do have some line movement here today. This is interesting. I do like this. I did not see this. I gotta check in. Taylor Hall in that first line, and first power play. Craig Smith just wasn't working out on that first line. No. Missing Jake Brusk, it just was not working. And this is the luxury that the Bruins have. And they're so deep, they can just put Taylor Hall from line 3 and power play 2 to line 1 and power play 1. Love the call. I love the call a lot. In fact, I got to double check myself just to see what we can get. I may even be interested in a little bit of a shot prop for Taylor Hall, even though it's against the Lightning. Plus money for 3 shots, plus 200 for an assist, and plus money for a point. That does love the call. This is what I'm talking about with the crew here. They're just so sharp. They're all over this stuff. Taylor Hall plus 100 for a point. Like it more than Krejci, but I do like Krejci as well. And plus 200 for an assist is certainly worth your time. No question about it. Let's move on, because we're already 24 minutes and we have 8 more games to talk about here.
One game.
Let's go to Montreal. Original 6 matchup here, right? Detroit and the Canadiens plus 136 for the Habs at home, and Detroit checking in at minus 150 of a goal total of 6. The live odds show Montreal plus 140 and Detroit in at minus 159, but we are still seeing 6. I do see a 6.5 in one spot over at Unibet and Bet Rivers at plus money here. Jake Allen is going to start tonight. Montembeault has been fantastic, by the way, but Jake Allen is going to be between the pipes for the Habs, and not really sure on Detroit. Magnus Hellberg, according to Daily Faceoff, the Red Wings have not been getting the goaltending. They've been pretty inconsistent, and I've actually been pretty impressed with the Habs, dude. They've hung around some good teams lately. They beat the Leafs over the weekend. They battled with the Bruins. They tied that game up late. actually like him tonight as a dog. And you know what? I normally don't. I'm usually picking on this team, but they have won 3 of their last 5. The 4-2 loss against the Bruins. They beat the Rangers. They beat the Jets. They beat the Leafs. And as I mentioned, they hung around with the Bruins. I like them, man. They're playing pretty scrappy. I'm going to take them tonight as home dogs.
Yeah, I mean, that could definitely happen. Detroit's been very inconsistent. Like some nights they put it together and they look like a very good young team. And other nights they look like last year's Detroit Red Wings. You know, I think what we kind of talked about at the start of the year is they are way more competitive this year than they were last year. I don't think I'm going to bet on Montreal to win that game, but I think it'll be a pretty competitive game. And like you said, Montreal, you know, they lost Caulfield, and I was like, oh, that's a death sentence for this team. Like they're already one of the worst teams in the league, and then you lose your best player. And guys like Kirby Doc and Hoffman and Josh Anderson have stepped up. So I got Suzuki and Doc. Doc is playing on the second line and playing on top power play, playing center, which, you know, we've seen him do a little bit before, but I think he's played most of his time there on the wing. But that's an interesting thing to split him and Suzuki up and have them both playing center. He's at plus 300. That would be a big bet for me today. And then on the Detroit side, I've got Larkin at plus 150. And Kopp, he rewarded me. He scored last time. I said to bet on him to score. He scored.
Yeah, you going back to him?
And I'm going back to him. And like, this is like, look, guys, he got moved into a position. They're trying to get him going. And that's exactly what happened. A good player like that, you know, they're in this drought and then they get moved into a position where they're playing, you know, he's playing on the second line and playing the left wing on the top power play. It doesn't always work, but it worked on Tuesday, and I'm going to bet on it to continue to work. They want Andrew Kopp to get going, and it looks like he has.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it just takes, you know, I mean, everybody's streaky in the NHL, and he's had such a disappointing run here with the Red Wings, despite getting all this ice time.
Invisible.
Minutes in back-to-back games. Really, yeah, invisible. But he does have back-to-back games with 5 shots, right? And then he did score his 5th goal, as you mentioned. He scored on January 16th, so he's got 2 goals here over his last 5 games. I think it's a nice call, a nice sneaky little call. I got Larkin and Kirby Doc. I've just been really impressed with Doc lately, and the time he's just taken on a larger role. I mean, he had a big role here with the Canadians, of course, and there was some time with him up on the top line. But look at the ice time for Kirby Doc over the last 2 games: 22:49 and 24 minutes. He scored twice against the Bruins. He has 7 shots over his last 2 games. Had at least 3 shots in 4 of his past 6. He's plus 134 to have 3 shots tonight. You can put him into a parlay at Bet Rivers at 1.5. He's minus 167, but I like Kirby Doc tonight to have 3 shots. I like Larkin to have 3 shots. He's a bit juiced. I was going to go with David Perron, but I don't like that he's off that first power play. The Canadians take a lot of penalties. I just feel like if he was on that first power play, maybe I'd take him for an anytime goal. I think he's sneaky plus money for a shot prop, but I'm going to go with Larkin. I'm going to go with Kirby. I like Larkin, and I like both of those guys to score tonight. I see the Larkin assist. It's a pretty good call. He's plus 124 for an assist, Dylan Larkin. So it's one that I can certainly get behind, and I really do like that Kopp call from you. Let's continue to move on. I do believe that the Habs will win tonight. Buffalo and Winnipeg. This one should be fun. The Jets at home minus 180. The Sabres checking in at plus 160. Let's get you guys some live odds here. The total is 6.5. We do have nothing has changed. Plus 158 for Winnipeg, minus 180 for the Jets, and plus 158 for the Buffalo Sabres. Man, the Sabres, like I know I always reference Bet365, but man, the other night they had Tuck, Skinner, and Tage all for 1 point. It worked out to about plus 240 for these guys to hit the score sheet. And on the other side, as you see Ehlers on the board, really like that Ehlers, Scheifele, and Wheeler line and what they've been doing. I'm going to go Tuck for 3 shots. I'm going to go Connor for 4 shots. My goal scorers would be Tuck, Ehlers, and Connor. I like Blake Wheeler for an assist and a point. I mean, really juicy there. Nice plus money for the assist. Not so much for the point, but I do think he hits a score sheet. I don't know. I got a feeling about some goals here, like especially if the Sabres are going to roll out Comrie. It looks like Comrie is going to be between the pipes for the Sabres tonight.
Yeah, I always got a good feeling about goals. It doesn't always work out, but Buffalo side plus money on Tage. Sign me up, yes please. And I'm going back to Cousins again. Centering that second line, and most importantly for me is centering the top power play. I don't know. There's something about him. He jumps off the screen to me. He's been playing really well, shooting the puck, playing important minutes for the Buffalo Sabres, and he's still at plus 300. So I feel like the books haven't caught up on how much he's playing in an important role and the points that he's producing. So I got those two guys. This is a Kyle Connor show. Kyle Connor to score and Ehlers. Ehlers, dude, he's a bit of a slow start from him coming back, but he's flying now, man. He is all over the ice. So I like him to score at plus 145.
And just the value with these guys, it's just crazy. Yep. I know that there's such an explosive offensive team. I mean, both of these teams are, but the Jets, they have two really strong lines. And I just look up and down, at just some of the assist props in particular. I know assists are kind of hard to predict, but if we feel like the over is going to hit, I mean, I do. I feel like we could see like a 5-3 game, a 4-3 game. And, if the top line in Buffalo scores a couple goals, you're going to see, some of these guys fall into assists, but more so, I think on the Winnipeg side is that second line, there seems to be a lot of value here with this squad. For example, I mean, just here's some assist props. Like Alex Tuch plus 135 for an assist, Blake Wheeler plus 135 for an assist, Jeff Skinner's plus 150 for an apple, Mark Scheifele. I think I'd rather pick Scheifele to score and then get involved with like an Ehlers assist. He's down to minus 115. It's the first time I've seen minus 115 or anything minus for Ehlers for an assist since he's been back, and he's been just like a point machine. Tage Thompson is plus 125 for an apple. So I'd kind of rank them Ehlers, actually Wheeler, Ehlers, Tuch, and Skinner to get assists tonight. I like the Pierre-Luc Dubois call for shots, but he's just juice. He's like minus 175, but I put that into a parlay over at Mean Streets. We touched on it. Pierre-Luc Dubois has been shooting quite a bit. What do you think about the Sabres upset here at plus 160?
I mean, definitely doable, man. The Sabres, when things click, they're a hard team to stop offensively. The power play is absolutely deadly. There was a shot on the NHL Network, I think it was yesterday, showing like I just wish the Nashville Predators could look like that at any time. Dude, I mean, just guys moving all over the place, nothing anybody could do. And they were pointing something out. It was really funny, is saying, oh, look at them move on the power play. And someone pointed it out on Twitter, I think it was, saying that was not a video of a power play. That was 5-on-5. So when things click, it's still a young team, right? And they're not where they want to be. They give up a ton of high danger chances. And the goaltending has been up and down. But when things click, man, this is a deadly, deadly team. The upset could easily happen.
I probably feel better about that upset than Montreal, to be honest, if we're picking an upset, right? It's a Sabres team that's flirting with a playoff spot. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and they can score up and down the ice. But I think it's going to be a fun game. I think we'll see the over. And as Union Head says, like, this is what I'm talking about. There's just a lot of value, right? If we think that there's going to be 6 or 7 goals here, you get plus money for, Dahlin and Morrissey, who have just been fantastic for points and for assists. But yeah, a lot to like, I think, from this game. Let's continue to move on here, and we'll talk about your Preds. Your Preds got a matchup at home, a plus 115 against the New Jersey Devils. The total here is 6, and just give you some live odds. Not much has changed, but maybe more so on the New Jersey side, minus 125 here now. And then for the Preds, still hanging around plus 115 over at FanDuel. What you make of this spot? Man, Nashville's given up a lot, man. They've given up a lot of rubber over the last few weeks. Over the last 6 weeks, according to the Natural Stat Trick, only the Ducks have allowed more shots and shot attempts at 5-5 per 60. That's it's pretty concerning.
Yeah, it has been this way, all year, and I don't know what happened, but somewhere along the lines, they just became a team that's not interested in suppressing shots at all. I get having confidence in your goaltender, as Saros has proved over the last couple of years. He's one of the best in the NHL. But think about this team with average goaltending. I mean, they're getting run into the rink every night, right? I mean, without Saros, this team is nothing. You could say that about probably 15 teams in the NHL. Without their goaltending, they're nothing. Or at least, like a bottom 10 team. Predators are in trouble, man. Something's got to give one way or the other. It's just massive inconsistencies, and it happens in the middle of a game. Like, they can come out in the first period and get run over, and then come out in the second period and completely dominate. And it's I don't know. I just don't know what to say one way or the other. I support them. I support this team. This is my home city. This tonight, I would have liked to go to the game. I got a lot of stuff going on. I can't make it, but I would love to see the New Jersey Devils in person. It would have been a good opportunity. But tonight for New Jersey, I got Hughes at plus 110 and Jesper Bratt at 175. Jesper Bratt is still is not talked about enough. He's kind of like not underrated, but I don't think people are talking about how good of a season he's having and how important he is to this team, and just how he kind of facilitates all the players and how he's always in the right spot. So I like those two guys. On the Nashville side, Forsberg at 150, the offense flows through him. And someone else that is getting a look on the first power play, who I've really noticed over the last week or two, is Mikael Granlund. Really good player, just relentless forechecker, hard worker, smart with the puck, good vision, probably of a pass first guy, but I like him to score tonight playing on that top power play.
One guy that I have in my fantasy league and I'm hanging on just for now, he did score in his last game, was Andre Palat. He's one of those like a decent guy in like a bangers league, because he can throw his body around. He kills penalties. He can block some shots and things like that. He's playing on that top line with Hischier and Bratt. He did score in his last game. He hasn't done a whole lot really in terms of putting the puck in the net since he's been back in the lineup, but he does have 4 points in his last 5 games. And I'm seeing him tonight plus money for a point, plus 110, and plus 225 for an assist. So maybe we can get that if we get a Bratt or a Nico Hischier goal. I actually don't really feel like we'll see a lot of offense in this game. I kind of feel like the under is probably the play. Hammerhead Union has more picks than anybody could ever imagine having, and I absolutely love it. I'm here for it. He's got like 7 plays in every single game. And I think my favorite that you mentioned is this one. UC Saros over saves, 31.5 saves tonight for UC Saros. I don't get involved too much with these save props because
that's a lot.
I mean, a goalie, it's risky business, to be honest. If I would say this, I kind of like them when there's a back-to-back, because it feels like the backup goalie is set to play the very next day, that they won't pull him. And I don't feel like they would pull Saros, but there's always, like, if it's 3-0 in the first period, they could just give him a break. But 31.5 over at FanDuel. The over is minus 106. And just to give you a little bit of a sneak peek, I mean, we just touched on the shot attempts and the shots that the Preds are giving up. And really on the other side, New Jersey's a team that's played really good at 5-5. And most times they dominate the shot possession and the puck possession. Saros' last few games, 32 saves, 31, 28. He did allow 5 goals in that game. 38, 28. He did allow 5 goals in that game. 33, 38, and 64. That game against Carolina not too long ago, right? Woo. Not bad, but we do have a nice little play here from Pascal. Severson's been good. He's been really good. Been playing him in DFS. He's been dirt cheap. 105 over plus 156 is hit in 3 of his last 4 games, playing 24 minutes a night. And on the second power play, great value. Love that call there, Pascal. He says, go Devils. I'm on the Devils tonight. I think New Jersey wins the game. I think it's going to be like a 3-2 hockey game. And I think maybe Philip Forsberg would be my guy to score on the Nashville side. Him and Cody Glass, maybe a little bit of a sneaky connection there. Cody Glass, maybe to find the back of the net. We did get that last week. Let's continue Let's go to Calgary. This is a lopsided affair. Let's get rid of the lopsided affairs here, and then we'll get into, maybe Crosby versus Ovechkin. Flames are massive favorites here. I looked at their numbers overall, and they lead the NHL in shot attempts. They're right there with Carolina in terms of shot attempts and shots at 5.5 per 60. I still feel like there's a lot of inconsistency in their game. There's some juice props that I like here, like Backlund I like, Toffoli I like. I'd like to see Huberdeau. I'd like to be able to have some confidence with Huberdeau. Man, it's kind of, let's be honest, this is a disappointing season for Huberdeau compared to what he did last year with Florida. And on the other side, Max Domi. Max Domi's a guy that you and I have been touching on over the past couple of weeks. Is a breakout campaign from Domi, even though he did have a really good season, 70-point campaign with the Habs. Calgary's a tough team to really dive into shot props, against, because they, like I said, they don't really give up a whole lot at 5-5. Domi's checking in at plus 150 for 3 shots, and he is plus money to pick up a point. He does have points in 3 straight games. In fact, he's hit the score sheet, Eric, in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of his last 10 games, and getting a lot of ice time as well. And the goaltending in Calgary has been pretty shaky, let's be honest. I'm not really smelling an upset, though, and I'm betting either side here.
Yeah, I mean, the Calgary Flames, we've said it a million times, and I can't stress it enough. It is a mystery to me that this team is where it is. Daryl Sutter has proven to be a very good coach. You look up and down the lineup, they have good experienced players. They have what we thought were going to be very good young players, solid defense. Markstrom, what was a very, very good goalie last year in the Vezina conversation. And here we are. I mean, not having any idea if we're going to win or lose. I mean, if I was to bet, I'm going to bet on them to win tonight because Chicago was absolutely brutal. But Calgary is a mystery.
Probably.
Yeah. For me, Calgary side, Lindholm at 115 and Kadri at 135. The two centers, splitting up where I'm betting, but both of these guys playing on the top power play, which I love. And then Chicago side, Patrick Kane 265 and Jonathan Toews at 275. I know Domi's in the picture there, and I've gone to him. But if I'm going to bet, I'm betting on Kane. And Toews has been playing some okay hockey, and he's centering that top power play with the Chicago side. It's a fool's errand to bet on those guys to score. But if you're going to pick Chicago guys or guys that have good numbers, Patrick Kane at 265 it's juicy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's pretty good. It's not usually what we see next to his name. I wrote up the third line on Monday, and they did contribute. And I see our guy Kenneth Lee has written up the third line as well. I mean, Backlund has been a moneymaker for us for 2 months. I mean, he's cleared 2.5 shots.
Shooting the puck like a lunatic, right?
He really is. He's cleared 2.5 and 9 of his last 11. He's just too juiced now to take as a single. The same thing as Tyler Toffoli. He's cleared in 6 straight games. Maybe a same game parlay with both of these guys to have 3 shots, or maybe you just kind of split them up, like a Backlund with, let's see, Pierre-Luc Dubois, or like a Toffoli with maybe a Dylan Larkin, like other guys that are completely juiced here. But Mangiapane, and I really have to hold myself accountable for this because he was all over the draft kit. I drafted him in a bunch of spots this year. He had a great season last year, and he's been very, very quiet this year. But this line has been sneaky good for the Flames lately. And Mangiapane has quietly racked up a ton of points over his last few games. I mean, he's hit the score sheet in 2, 4, 6, 7 of his last 10 games. He's got 3 goals over that span. He's got 8 shots over his last 2 games. He's cleared 2.5 shots in 4 of his past 5. He's plus money for 3 shots tonight. He's plus 174 for an assist. He's minus 128 for a point, which I really like. But I am going to get involved with him to score a goal tonight at plus 225. Like, Backlund's shooting a lot, but he's not like he's a great goal scorer. Let's be honest. He does have 9 goals in the season. Be shocked if he gets to 20, despite shooting as much as he does. And Blake Coleman's a good 5-5 player, right? He's had some good seasons, and he's contributing as well. So this line's pretty sneaky. They're doing some things. I think from a DFS standpoint, to get involved with maybe that third line would be the way to go. But a lot of people are catching on to that trend. Like, we've been talking about this third line for a couple of weeks, and the ownership has been a little heavier because they are underpriced compared to Toffoli and Lindholm, and Huberdeau doesn't shoot the puck, but Kadri's a really good play as well. So A lot to like, I think, from this matchup on the Calgary side of things. Anything to add when it comes to Colorado and Anaheim? I mean, this is the biggest mismatch on the board tonight, and it's the first time I've seen all year that Nathan McKinnon's shot props at 5.5. I mean, what are we going to say? The Avs are going to roll.
Brayton and McKinnon to score, Zegras and Terry.
Next.
We can move on from that one.
Let's move on. Let's talk about this one before we wrap up from Game Plus Network. Anytime these two guys go together, it's always must-watch hockey. You know what I'm talking about here. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Washington Capitals, Alexander Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. If somebody asked you Mount Rushmore, you can only put one of these guys on it. Say we got Gretzky, we got Howe. Gretzky and Howe are already on the board. They're already there. Mount Rushmore. They're there. Done. Gretzky, Howe. Make the case for the third. I don't know what you want to do. Maybe you want to chuck a goalie on there. Maybe it's Berter or Wahasek. Maybe you want to chuck. I mean, there's so many players that you can chuck on there. But let's say there's only one spot. Who's getting it, in your opinion? Who do you think has had the better career? Alex Ovechkin or Sidney Crosby?
It's almost impossible to measure, right? Because they're just two different styles of players. Early on, I think, anybody that thought that Alex Ovechkin was interested in back pressure or playing defense, he just wasn't. He was unbelievable forechecker, a physical presence, still throws the body around more than he probably should, and probably the most prolific goal scorer to ever play. Whether he beats Gretzky's record or not, I think he's the best goal scorer to ever play. Sidney Crosby is the most complete player. And so comparing these two is almost impossible. But I think, they're both first ballot Hall of Famers. It's so cool that they came into the league together. They played in the same division. And we've got see them to go head to head a ton of times. Measuring it that way, you got to hand it to Sid. He's won more of the games and more of the head to head matchups. He's got more cups. He's got more gold medals. He's got more single awards. I guess if you're forcing my hand, I would say Sid. But there's no wrong answer there. And I've got both of them to score tonight. And Malkin on the other side of that as well. And Tom Wilson again at plus 230.
3 cups for Crosby, 2 Conn Smythes, 3 Ted Lindsay awards, 2 Hart trophies, 2 Art Ross trophies, 2 Rockets, 2 golds, as you mentioned. Ovechkin, 9-time Rocket Richard winner. 9 50-goal seasons, ties him for the most with Bossy and Gretzky. He's got 3 Hart trophies. He's won the Ted Lindsay award 3 times. He has a cup. He has a Conn Smythe. It's really tough. For me, I would go with Sidney Crosby. I think he's the better all-around player. I think he has more accomplishments. I think people maybe in 50 years when they look back and they see all the numbers, they probably will look at Ovechkin and will think of Ovechkin as the better player because of all the goals. He's going to pass Wayne Gretzky for the most goals of all time. People will remember him as a goal scorer. And at the end of the day, that's what sells tickets, goals. It's funny that these two guys are neck and neck. They've been neck and neck since they've entered the league. They've always been that way. You mentioned when they play each other, it's been fantastic. I remember a playoff matchup where they both had hat tricks, right? And Crosby's really had Ovechkin's number in those matchups. I think if Ovechkin didn't get the cup, it wouldn't be this close, but he did end up finding a way to get that Stanley Cup and win it after all those disappointing years that Washington had, getting bounced in the first or the second round. But right now, in terms of scoring, Ovechkin is number 17 all time, 1,463 points. Sidney Crosby's number 16, 1,466 points. It's something to keep in mind that Ovechkin has played nearly 200 more games than Sidney Crosby, dealing with some concussions and some injuries. And it's amazing that Ovechkin's been able to stay as healthy as he has, the way that he plays hockey, throwing his body around. He's very
incredible.
He's been among the leaders in shots and hits for years now. But for me, it would go to Sid the Kid. Better overall game, better playmaker, better two-way player, not as prolific as a goal scorer, but more accomplishments when it's all said and done, and maybe 1 or 2 more cup runs for these guys.
Love that.
And with that, we will say goodbye to Game Plus Network. You can hop on over, see all Eric's goal scorers, got some shot props and some sides as well. And have a great weekend. We will see you guys soon. Cheers. All right. What'd you have over there? Sorry, you had an OV goal, you had a Crosby goal. What about Malkin? Like Malkin's been really good lately. I'm getting Malkin.
Dude,
That second line
plus 200.
Really nice.
Plus 200 on DraftKings. I don't, the prop shop it's the best tool out there, but like I said, I live in Tennessee and most of those I can't use. So I just stick with FanDuel and DraftKings because I know that those work here. It's the cost of living in Tennessee, guys. So, enjoy your Bet365, enjoy your points bet, and enjoy your MGM and the bunch of other places that are better for hockey gambling. And I'll be over here chugging away.
There. I like goals. Both of these teams, they got holes. Defensively, in between the pipe, whatever it is, man. I like the over. Joey comes in with a little rust. Has 5 goals in his last 5 games against the Caps. Yeah, absolutely, right? He's been pretty quiet this year. A bit of a disappointing season, but he seems to own them. Like, thanks for that little tidbit. I'm gonna go reference Bet365 again because there is just so much value to be had over here. For example, Jake Gensel and Sidney Crosby to get a point tonight. Just these guys, again, they correlate. One of them is going to score. Say it's Gensel. I like Gensel to score tonight. Crosby to get the assist. For same game parlay, Crosby and Gensel, plus 115 for those two guys. You want to go Malkin and Raquel, plus 145. You want to get a little bit crazier, add Zucker in there, plus 375. That's the second line. Hit the score sheet. Boom. Loving it. Over on the other side, Ovechkin's 1.5. So it's a little bit tough. Like maybe you do a Ovechkin goal and a Kuznetsov assist, then you're looking at like plus 300 as well. So a lot of different ways that you can go. For me, the goal scorers would be Gensel, Malkin, Ovi, and Oshie as like a little bit of a longer shot there. Oshie's still good to go, right? He's been in the lineup. I think he's good to go. And for shot props, I would go Malkin and Ovechkin. I think he could get 5 tonight. I think that should be a fun one. That's why I saved it for last. I think it should be a really good one. Yeah, it should be a good one. Who wins it?
I'll lean Washington at home.
Okay. Capitals. Okay, there's not much left here. We do have St. Louis and Arizona, Philadelphia and Minnesota, and that will round out the show here. So let's go to Arizona, the Blues, and the Coyotes. It's probably my favorite shot prop, honestly. It's Vladimir Tarasenko at 2.5, minus 130. He returned to the lineup in his last game. He played roughly 17 minutes. He had 5 shots. He's cleared in 4 straight games that he's been able to play the entire game. He only played 4 minutes before suffering that injury. The Coyotes, we're not breaking any news here with Coyotes, but inside the top 10 in shot attempts and shots allowed at 5 and 5 per 60 since December 1st. So no Buchnevich, no Ryan O'Reilly. Minutes are going to be there for Tarasenko, and a decent price where I'm seeing a lot of these shot props. These guys are just all juiced. It's just hard to take a single. So Tarasenko would probably be my favorite single play of the day, and it's what I led with over at Mean Streets. Ooh, Anthony saying Oshie had a baby. Dad strength boost, baby swag. Man, he might get a hat trick tonight, TJ Oshie, ladies and gentlemen. Vladimir Tarasenko, like him shots, like him to score. And I like our guy, Barrett Hayton, man. Hayton again the other night. He scored. He continues to get a lot of ice time. He's still playing on that top line with Clayton Keller. It's a guy that's getting like 19, 20 minutes a night, and he's been shooting, right? So those are kind of my two guys tonight. And of course, Jordan Kyrou and Keller shots. Like those are, Kyrou's always in play for a goal. I'm sure you got him on your list.
Yeah, Kyrou at 140 and Tarasenko for the St. Louis side. And then Arizona, I got Keller at 155 and Dylan Gunther at plus 330. Yeah, kind of jumped off the screen to me. I watched a little bit of the Arizona Coyotes. I said Kraus didn't play last, I think it was on Tuesday. So I'm going away from him. Gunther's playing on the second line and on the second power play and looked really good to me. I mean, passed the eye test. I don't know if it's a great idea, but I mean, as far as the odds go, plus 330 for a guy that's playing some important minutes and look really good to me. So sign me up. I mean, St. Louis goaltending has been, basically throw a dart. Who knows which Jordan Binnington's going to show up.
He's probably the most inconsistent goalie in the league. It's crazy. Like when they won the cup, he looked like
he was so good. He was
he
so
was
good.
unbelievable, especially in
Then he
that
got
game
paid.
in Boston, that game 7. Then he got paid. It does look
Two
like
types
Thomas
of people.
Greiss is going to get the start, and he hasn't shown us anything either. So
Right.
he's been awful and inconsistent as well. Hayton's plus 320 for a goal. His shot prop is at 1.5 and is just heavily juiced, but I don't mind taking it in. Man, we got Richard here. He's got some tennis bets for us. The Djokovic at in the Australian Open. Oh man, we love it. We're all psychos here on this show, and Union is loving it. Bet tennis. I mean, tell you what, Josh Gross has been killing it. Hayton goal, and Dustin's feeling you. Gunther shots as well. Pascal's in on it. Yeah, he's been shooting. The confidence, I think, maybe from the World Juniors potentially.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Coming off of that, he's
a nice little piece, nice prospect.
Yeah, very nice.
Plus 310 for him to get a goal. Plus 570 for him to get a power play point tonight. Ooh, not bad. All right, the final game of the night. What is it? It's Minnesota and Philadelphia. The Wild at home minus 235. The Flyers plus 196. The Flyers have they've hung around. They've been
battling.
Give credit. They are battling every night. You got to give credit to Tortorella. This team has showed up. They've been playing, and they're not winning a lot of their games, but they're hanging around in these games. They lost 4-3 to the Kings. They lost 5-3 to Winnipeg. They beat Detroit. They lost to Chicago, which was a bit of a down. Obviously a down game, but they beat Washington in back-to-back games. They shut out the Sabres not too long ago as well. Kevin Hayes only had one shot the other night, but Minnesota's a tough one. In Minnesota against this Wild team, they play some good 5-5 hockey. It's really tough for me to, say with confidence that I like Kevin Hayes and Travis Konechny, but those are the two guys for me in shot props. I don't really feel, Frost has been good with these points and things like that, but I don't think the Flyers are going to score too many goals in Mini tonight.
No, I don't think they will. And if they do, I'm in lockstep with you. I've got Konechny and Hayes. And on the Minnesota side, I got Kaprizov and Boldy again. And this is another thing. Like we've been hammering this all year. Boldy's playing on the second line and is the shooter on their power play. Okay. That's the position he plays. And DraftKings still has him at plus 245. They just don't have enough people following hockey for these numbers to catch up. He just got paid $49 million. He's one of the most important players on the team, and the books are still giving us plus 245. Hammer it.
And that's in such a dream spot. Over the last 2 weeks, he leads the Wild in shots. He's been a moneymaker as well in the shot prop game. Most of these games are 4-4, 4-5, 4-4. One against Washington, bounce back against Carolina in a tough spot, scores a goal on 3 shots. Florida, 2 nights later, 4 shots, 1 goal. And then against Tampa, which is a tough spot, he finds a way to have 5 shots. So he's juiced as well, but I do like him quite a bit. And I would just maybe, if I'm looking for a long shot goal here, maybe it's Sam Steele, right? I know it's just because of who he's playing with and the opportunity. He hasn't done really a whole lot. You think he'd hit the score sheet a little bit more playing with Zuccarello and Kaprizov, but he is plus 192 for an assist. He's plus 108 for a point, and he is plus 350 to find the back of the net tonight, and it is just a really good spot. What's Kaprizov for 2 points? Because I feel like this is a 2-point game in the making for Dollar Bill to thrill Kaprizov. Plus 128 for 2 points. Not too bad. I haven't been doing his shot prop because he's not shooting. He's got 6 shots in his last 4 games. He had a game there against Washington where he had 0 shots. But I do like Wild tonight. I like the Wild at home. Puck line. All right. I think we did it. We did it under an hour. Imagine that. Oh, wait. We still have goal scorers to get to. Take her away.
Yep. All right. Pasta, Marchand, Stamkos, Hagel, Larkin, Kopp, big bet. Suzuki, Doc, big bet. Crosby, Malkin, Ovi, Wilson, Hughes, Bratt, Forsberg, Granlund, Konechny, Hayes, Kaprizov, Boldy, big bet. Tage, Cousins, Connor, Ehlers, Zegras, Terry, Rantanen, McKinnon, Kane, Taze, Lindholm, Kadri, Kyrou, Tarasenko, Keller, Gunther, and the 8-way Maniac Parlay. We're going to get it. Pasta, Ovi, Crosby, Hughes, Forsberg, Tage, Connor, and Kaprizov.
It always sounds so nice. It always
Yeah,
sounds
you're like,
so
of
nice.
course all those guys are going to score. I've
You
been
combo
so
it.
close on a couple of them. I mean, it's just
That's why you combo
a
it. You
dollar
get
or
6 for
two.
8.
Yep.
6 for 8, 7 for 8. Yeah, buck or two on it, pizza money, and away you go.
Yep.
For me, goal scorers tonight, I'll roll through the games. I like Kirby Doc, Dylan Larkin. I like David Pastrnak and Braden Point. I like, Pittsburgh and Washington. There's a lot I like, as I mentioned. I like Jake Gensel to score, I like Evgeny Malkin to score, I like Ovechkin to score, and I like TJ Oshie. Dad swag, baby swag. What did we say there earlier? TJ Oshie night tonight.
Baby swag.
At Capital One Arena in Washington. It's hard for me not to go Jack Hughes, but I do like Hughes. I got this feeling about Andre Palat, guys. I'm going to a little small sprinkle on Andre Palat. I like Philip Forsberg. I like Alex Tuch, Tage Thompson, Nikolai Ehlers, and Kyle Connor. I am going to get involved with some same-game parlays. Take that Buffalo top line, take Winnipeg's second line for a same-game parlay. For Philadelphia, I'm not going to go there for the Flyers. I'm not really feeling the Flyers tonight. I like Sam Steele as like a sneaky little one. Love Boldy. Boldy's a much better bet, but you're going to get some better odds there with Sam Steele. I like Tarasenko and Barrett Hayton in the Coyotes and Blues game at Mullet Arena. And for Calgary, I like Andrew Mangiapane. It's probably one of my favorite plays today. Mangiapane to find the back of the net. The Flames are checking in at minus 413 at Scotiabank Saddledome against the Chicago Blackhawks. Colorado, I'll go with Arturi Lehkonen and Valerie Nichushkin. And you better believe it, I'm putting Nathan McKinnon 4.5 shots into a parlay, with some other shot prop guys here that I like. I'll get rid of the juice ones that I think you just have to put into a parlay, like Toffoli, Backlund, Pierre-Luc Dubois. For singles, I like Tuck. Larkin's probably the same thing into a parlay. I like Kirby as a single, Kirby Doc. I like the shot on Taylor Hall here as well. Jack Hughes, Kyle Connor, Malkin, Ovechkin, Tarasenko, one of my favorite singles as well. I got some guys written down here for assists that I think is some pretty good value. David Krejci, Taylor Hall, Brendan Hagel, Blake Wheeler for an assist. And then I am going to jump on that Taylor Hall point. Plus 100 for a point tonight. Tough matchup, but nice little boost for him to get up on that top line. How about this comment from Parley? I've been betting Aussie basketball at 3 a.m. some nights. And I love it. I'm here for it. Aussie basketball betting at 3 a.m. in the morning. Let's go. I appreciate all you guys hanging out with us. Good luck tonight on the ice. Sorry about the bit of a delay, but we did see some old faces in here again. Have a great weekend. FTNbets.com/free, FTNdaily.com/free. Promo code Meaney. Save yourself a little bit of cash. All picks across all sports. You can check out the DFS article as well over at FTNdaily.com. Good luck on the ice. We will talk to you guys very soon. Again, get those numbers in, the jersey, screenshot, send them over at Chris Meaney, at the Eric Young, or email at meanstreetsftn@gmail.com. Have a good one, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.